Hello guys, welcome back to another quick tip tutorial. This time I will talk about VRay and Ambient Occlusion. So I've got here a simple scene, just a tire for demonstration's sake, and I want to show you how you could quickly set up your Ambient Occlusion, which gives your renders a bit more depth and realism to them. So I've got a tire rendered out using VRay shaders, just simple material settings, and now I want to create some ambient occlusion to give some more detail in these areas and where it touches the ground, and maybe also in the ridges here of the tire. So to do that, you first of all will do it using render layers, because it's a convenient way and you get a fast render result for that. So for ambient occlusion you just need the objects which are occluding each other, so you could just show polygons only or your meshes only, and then select all and copy them into a new render layer. Just rename it to occlusion, and then it's actually pretty straightforward. You don't need any indirect illumination or other settings which affect your render speed. Just turn them off. You can create it using an override on and off, and the rest should be the same. The sample or threshold number will give you smoothness to your occlusion. So now to set it up, you go to your render layer and right click it and add a, override, and then, okay, you won't see it on your screen, but there is a create new material override, and then you can go to surface shader, or what would be more easy to see is you go into the hypershade and you create a new surface shader. There you go, and then right click and assign material override for occlusion. So now everything goes dark because of the surface shader, and in the surface shader out color you plug in the VRay dirt shader. This is the occlusion which you will use. So now you have the occluded color. The radius is how much each objects influence each other, so we just turn it to default material. A radius of 10. If I quickly create a sphere, and give this a radius of, of 10, you will see that from this point these objects or these elements will influence the occlusion in this area. So if you go to the surface shader, and I just copy this to get it turned off, and now you can increase the radius to see a different effect on your render. So if I would now turn on my IPR, okay, RT doesn't work with the occlusion, so you have to always render it. So you can see now you've got a very subtle occlusion. I just increase the size quickly. Okay, but you see it works. So if you now increase the radius, I'll just delete my sphere here. If you would now increase the radius, let's say to 50, you will get a much softer occlusion. You see it's all now getting dark because ever more objects will occlude your scene, which isn't useful in that case because it's a bit too much, I'd say. But you can play with this value. Just reduce it how you like it, and now you can see this one is pretty nice. 25 is actually pretty good. You can see now detail being added to the Chevrolet icon here, and then where the ball should go, and into the ridges. It's pretty nice. And these values here, the bias is for if you want really to create dirt on walls or something, you can bias Y, then you would see the occlusion being pulled down by gravity in plus or negative y. The same goes for z and x. Subdivision is the quality of your occlusion. If you put it high, 64 for instance, you'll get a very smooth and soft occlusion with no sample errors. So this looks now very smooth. And the fall off, yeah, it's just simple settings. You can go and look it up in the VRay at Spot 3D, I think, where you just complete distribution is how it's being distributed. Fall off is how quickly the occlusion falls off, so you get a much sharper occlusion. And these values is just if you have double-sided materials, or if you want, it's pretty self-explanatory to all this. So I keep it at 64, and now I will show you my final render. So now I've got my final renders, the beauty and my occlusion in Photoshop layers, and by changing the blending mode to multiply, you can immediately see the effect of the occlusion on my beauty render layer. So if you could now add an adjustment layer to your occlusion, you could change the effect of the occlusion. As you can see here now, by moving the curve, you can see how the effect changes to my render. So now you can see it singled out on the occlusion itself. You can see how sharp it's getting while changing the contrast. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. It was a short one this time, but I hope you liked what you saw, and I hope you could do something for future work. It's a pretty neat way, and it's interactive, and it's very fast in VRay to use the VRay Do It option. So thank you guys for watching, and keep in touch. Bye.